Hey, welcome to another episode of True Crimes and Weird Times. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Kim.
And today we have a two-parter, and I'm going to be telling you about the most gruesome story that I personally remember hearing from my childhood. It helped put organizations in place to help missing kids, and it created a show that I thoroughly enjoyed as a child, America's Most Wanted. This is the story of Adam Walsh.
And I am going to be telling you about a cursed island. It is called Gaiola Island. And everyone who has inhabited this island faces terrible, terrible bad luck. Like, just bad things happen to them.
Ooh, field trip.
Right.
On the afternoon of July 27th, 1981, 6-year-old Adam Walsh and his mother, Reve, went shopping at the Hollywood Mall in Hollywood, Florida. Reve wanted to ask about a lamp that was on sale at the local Sears, and I'm sure Adam didn't want to go into Sears because what kid does? So she left him at a nearby kiosk that was displaying like new Atari games. Remember, this is the 80s. And before anybody gets all up in arms about him being alone, this is what happened in the 80s. In fact, this is probably what started the whole parents watching their kids more often. So just leaving your kid hanging out at the mall by themselves was pretty common.
It makes me super nervous at this point just to think about it.
Yeah, but he was, a 6-year-old so small.
I don't know.
I don't know if I could do that even then.
I probably won't even let my 6-year-old go to the bathroom by himself.
No. No, Mommy's coming.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, Adam hung around to play at the display kiosk, and there were some other boys who were there taking turns playing with him too. So at about 12:15, Reve left the store and walked back to that kiosk to pick up Adam. Well, when she got there, she found that Adam nor the boys that were there when they first arrived were anywhere to be found. Naturally, she asked the security guard if he had seen the boys, and he actually had. He told her that the boys were arguing over whose turn it was or something. There was just a scuffle. And the guard asked the boys if they were there with their parents. And when the older boys said that they weren't, the guard made all of them leave, even Adam, because he thought he was just there with them. Now, later, Adam's parents said that, Adam was shy. Again, 6 years old. He was shy. He probably wouldn't have argued with someone in authority.
Well, yeah, he's 6 years old.
Right. So he just left with them. It was also said that since Adam left out of a different store exit than him and his mom originally came in, he may have just been, disoriented, turned around. I mean, I'm thinking back to our mall when I was a kid and at 6 years old, yeah, I'm going to be
I wouldn't know
lost.
my way around a mall at 6 years old. I would get lost in Walmart at 6 years old.
Yeah. And, the boys don't know him, so they would have just left him there. And he's in an unfamiliar area. Reve searches around. She searches around the toy department. She's not finding him. And then she quickly had him paged over the intercom throughout the store. Again, no luck. She then actually runs into her mother-in-law, Jean, and both of them begin searching for him. Again, no luck. And after 90 minutes of searching and trying to look for him and paging him, Reve finally calls the police at 1:55 p.m. So this is all within not even 2-hour time span. Of course, the police can't do much. He's missing, but, they do try to find maybe where he'd been, maybe some camera footage. I couldn't find anything about camera footage, but,
I was going to say, in the 80s, did they have security cameras up in malls and stuff as much as they do now?
Probably not as much as we do now, but I'm sure they did try. We'll get into that in a minute.
I'm sensing bad police work coming.
What makes you say that? So on August 10th, a severed head was found in a drainage canal in Vero Beach. Vero Beach is 130 miles away from Hollywood, Florida. On August 11th, John and Reve Walsh appear on national television and said that they hoped that Adam was still alive and that there was a $100,000 reward for his safe return. But, as you can guess, they identified the severed head as Adam Walsh's.
God, oh, God.
Yeah.
6 years old.
I know. The coroner ruled his death as asphyxiation, but they don't really know. It's just his head.
Right.
and the rest of his body was never recovered. So this is all they've had to go on.
Oh, God.
Yeah. It also said that the state of the remains suggested that Adam had actually died several days before his head was found. So he had been there for a little while.
Oh. Yeah. How long after he disappeared was the head found? Sorry, I can't remember the original date.
So this was about 2 weeks after he had gone missing.
Okay, so they said it had been there for several days. That means that he was probably a captive for a while?
Possibly.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So after all of the investigations, police concluded that a drifter named Otis Toole had abducted Adam when he exited the mall that day in July. According to Toole, he had lured Adam into his vehicle with like promises of toys and candy, you know, typical child abductor stereotypes. Or once he got Adam into the vehicle, he headed north on I-95 toward his home in Jacksonville. He said that Adam was, you know, compliant at first. He was in the car. But then he began to panic the longer they started to drive. Well, this made Toole uncomfortable, poor guy, and he punched Adam to make him stop. But when that didn't work, he, quote, walloped him unconscious. And he continued to drive north on the Florida Turnpike to a deserted service road. When he realized Adam was still breathing, he strangled him to death with a seatbelt. He dragged him out of the car, and he used a machete to decapitate him. Toole then claimed that he burned the body in an old refrigerator when he returned back home in Jacksonville. Toole then stated that he drove around with Adam's severed head for several days because he, quote, forgot about it.
Oh, my God.
And that he eventually just, you know, tossed it in a nearby canal where it was found. He claimed that he wanted to make Adam his adoptive son, but that Adam had such a strong connection with his parents that it couldn't happen.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I want to just...
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the thing. Otis Toole went back and forth on this story. This is what he told police. And then he recanted it and said, I didn't mean that. I was just saying that.
Okay.
So, yeah, but there's too many things that he knows. We'll get to that in a minute, too. Now, this seems like a pretty open and shut case, except there were a lot of botches in this investigation, according to John Walsh, his parents, John and Reve. John Walsh stated that the lack of coordinated plan by the police in Hollywood, Florida, after his son was reported missing resulted in crucial hours being lost. Like, they just weren't prepared for something like this. It was very chaotic. It was really disorganized while they were investigating, while they were looking for him. Things could have been done way quicker than it had been. They actually looked at Otis Toole's car, but they couldn't determine the source of the blood that was found in his vehicle, which part of that might have to do with it being the 80s. They didn't have the same DNA tools as we have now. So that could have been part of it, but they still could have done something with it.
Yeah.
The actual bloodstained carpet that was in the car was lost. The machete that was said to have been used to decapitate Adam was lost.
What?
The car itself was lost.
How do you lose a car?
Yeah.
A car.
Yeah.
You can't misplace a car.
Gee, where did it go? And then, of course, you know, Otis Toole just repeatedly confessed and recanted to killing Adam, so they can't even get a straight story from the dude.
Oh, my God.
And then all of the things that could have put him away is now lost.
Even the car.
Now, I don't think, personally, before anybody goes down any conspiracy rabbit holes, listen to me because I do that. I don't think this was a matter of they're trying to cover up something. I think this was just shoddy police work. I don't know what was going on. I don't understand how you just lose things like that, but I think this was just shoddy police work. Otis Toole was never charged in Adam's case.
Are you serious?
Well, they don't have anything to go on. They don't have any proof.
Oh, my God.
And he keeps saying that he did and didn't. His confession was viewed as unreliable. You know, he was well known already to confess to crimes he didn't commit. Like, he really didn't commit.
Okay.
And then just recant. So there was no way to literally put this on him. There's nothing there. But throughout this case, the Adam Walsh case, Toole seemed to give some accurate descriptions and information. But whether they could have put him away under circumstantial evidence like that, probably not. they may have been looking for something more, hard proof.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like all it would take would be for a defense attorney to say, look, he's confessed all these other crimes. He clearly didn't do those.
Yeah.
He didn't do this one either.
Yeah. The police also searched repeatedly through Toole's car with luminol to find bloodstains. That's how they found the bloodstains in the carpet to begin with. Now, in the trunk, there is a photo, and I will post it on social media. There is, and it's apparently the only surviving evidence, and I think it's just because it's a picture of a shape of a bloodstain in the carpet, which a lot of people, including John Walsh and Reve, believe that it is an outline of Adam's face where the head was in the car.
Yeah, I've seen the picture.
Yeah.
It is a face.
Yeah, it looks like a face. It looks like a child's face.
Yep.
You can see 2 eyes, I think a nose, but like a mouth.
Yeah,
You can
a
see
face.
it, yeah.
Oh, I'm getting cold chills just thinking about it.
Also, there were several witnesses who claimed, and again, take that with a grain of salt in these types of cases, they claimed to have seen Otis Toole in the Hollywood area in the days before Adam's disappearance. So, he was around. But again, there was nothing to pin him on in this case because everything was lost.
That is infuriating. Yeah. I can't imagine being the parents and knowing that it was right there.
I know.
And they lost everything.
I would have lost my mind. You know what? I hope they sued them. I'm not sure if they did. I didn't think to look.
I don't know.
I would sue them for that because that's on them.
Yep.
Toole actually ended up dying in prison at the age of 49.
Well, at least there's that, I guess.
Yeah. He was serving a life sentence for other crimes he had committed. However, Toole's niece told John Walsh that he had actually made a deathbed confession to killing Adam. But again, who could take that seriously if that's all he's done his whole life is just confess to crimes?
I mean, I guess that would be some kind of like comfort or solace that you feel like you do know what happened, even if they never charged him with it. And the fact that he was already in jail.
Yeah.
Like they couldn't re-put him in jail.
Right. And at least he's not doing it to anybody else.
Yeah. Like maybe they wanted the death penalty or something, but he's in jail. That's something.
And I will say, I mean, this had happened before I was born, so I don't know much about it except from when I'm older. But like, from what I understand, John and Reve turned it into something good. They wanted to honor their son, and they made a lot of good things happen because of it. In 2007, allegations arose that Jeffrey Dahmer might have killed Adam. Lionel Dahmer, who was Jeffrey's father, called in to the America's Most Wanted hotline shortly after Jeffrey's arrest in 91 and claimed that he believed his son was a pedophile. That might not be too far out of the realm of possibilities.
I mean, he was a weirdo, so
Dahmer was living in Miami Beach at the time. Witnesses claimed to have seen him at the same mall as Adam the day of Adam's disappearance. However, this was a big case, Dahmer.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Walsh was a big case. Anybody could have called and said anything.
Right, yeah. And people do that for some reason.
It's so weird. Like, why would you do that? Other witnesses claim to have seen a strange man lurking around the toy department that day. Others say they saw a blonde man with a protruding chin throw a struggling child into a blue van. They recognized Dahmer after his arrest, which is why it didn't come out immediately. And apparently Dahmer drove a blue work van for the florist he was working at the time. But when interviewed and questioned about Adam, Dahmer denied the allegations. And he said, "I've told you everything. How I killed them, how I cooked them, how I ate them. Why wouldn't I tell you if I did something else?"
I mean, that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, he was pretty open about what he did.
Like, why would you tell him all of that, but not want to confess to this one other crime? Like, you're already going away forever.
Yeah.
So.
He was clearly guilty when they found him. Like, he was caught red-handed. So,
yep.
But even John Walsh said he saw no evidence linking Dahmer and Adam.
I feel like every time one of these big, high-profile cases gets busted like that, like Jeffrey Dahmer, or any of the bigger ones, people automatically go through every unsolved case and they say, "But he probably did this one. But he probably did that one."
Well,
yeah.
And then they start finding like stuff that really doesn't match, but they'll start finding similarities between them. Mm-hmm. And that's not how that works. Like, I see what they're doing.
Yeah, like, this guy killed women. She was a woman. Like, they're not real reliable links, but And I get it. People just want answers.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah. But on December 6, 2008, Hollywood, Florida police announced that the case was closed. After an external view of the case, they were pretty satisfied that Otis Toole had been Adam Walsh's murderer. I believe John and Reve were pretty confident in that too.
Yeah, I feel like they were probably already there way before 2008.
Yeah. And honestly, even if he wasn't, that was pretty good closure for that.
Yeah.
Because of Adam Walsh's case, a made-for-TV film called Adam appeared in 1983, which was just 2 years after he had gone missing. It was based on Adam Walsh's abduction and murder, but at the end of each airing, photos and descriptions of missing children were listed and a hotline was created to help bring in tips about these kids. These pictures and hotlines that appeared after the movies helped find 13 of the 55 missing children shown.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty big numbers.
Yeah.
Considering.
That's great numbers.
Yeah. In 1984, U.S. Congress passed the Missing Children's Assistance Act, which allowed the formation of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Code Adam was created in 1994 in memory of Adam. It's a missing child safety program created by Walmart. If you've ever those pictures, the bulletin board at Walmart.
Yeah.
The missing kids, that's what that is.
Huh.
John Walsh, like I said, went on to host America's Most Wanted, which aired from 1988 to 1996 and again from 2011 to 2013. But it helped capture 1,200 criminals since its air date.
I mean, I remember watching it as a kid.
Oh, yeah. And I remember all the updates, too. Like,
I know. Every time I'd come on, update. And I'm like, yeah!
In 2006, the Adam Walsh Child Protection and Safety Act was passed. It's a bill that institutes a national database of convicted child molesters and increases penalties for sexual and violent offenses against children. And the Adam Walsh Reauthorization Act of 2016 was enacted and signed by Obama on October 7th, 2016. And it provides budgets to continue all of these programs.
That's great.
Yeah. So at least something good came out of this horrible murder.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that's how these things come about. It's because there's a horrible crime committed and there's no resources to do anything about it. So the parents push to change it. Like the Amber Alert.
Well, that's what I was getting ready to say, the Amber Alert.
And it's crazy how many people they know who John Walsh is, but they don't know about Adam.
Yeah. And that's what Kim and I were talking earlier. I remember seeing a post not too long ago and somebody had mentioned Adam Walsh and everybody's like, what is this? What? And I was like, time to do it, baby.
I remember the first time I saw a show where John Walsh was there talking about Adam.
Yeah.
And it blew my mind because I had no idea.
Yeah, I remember, my mom was, this was just a few years after Adam Walsh when I was born. But when I was a kid, my mom was like, you're not going anywhere without me. And you're just like, well, whatever, Mm-hmm. But when I got a little bit older and realized who John Walsh was, and I'm like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
So, keep an eye on your kids, guys.
Yes, please.
Don't let your 6-year-old wander around a mall, and don't even let them go to the bathroom on their own. It's seriously, just keep your kids close to you.
Yeah.
Do you often find that you need a distraction from everyday life?
Do you like true crime, conspiracy theories, paranormal stories, and other weird, dark tales?
Well, tune in and turn up Weird Distractions Podcast, where we, your hosts, Christy
and Alex,
bring you a weird distraction to help you get through the work week.
Every Sunday morning, you can find our show on Apple Podcasts, Anchor, Spotify, Good Pods, and more.
So, grab a snack, get comfy,
and make sure to lock those doors. Need a distraction? We got you.
Gaiola Island is located in the Gulf of Naples off the southwestern coast of Italy. And when I say off the coast, I mean just barely. It's actually only about 90 feet from the shore. So you can easily swim to and from this island.
That's awesome.
I know.
Well, you don't want to, though.
No, you don't want to. It's actually made up of 2 tall rock islets that are connected by this arched stone bridge. And we can post a picture of it on social media. And it's not known when the bridge was built, and people aren't even sure if it was meant to be a bridge or if it's the remains of an arched covering that may have once connected the islands to form like a tunnel between them.
Oh, okay.
But it does look really cool. On the side closest to the shore is an abandoned villa, and there isn't anything across the bridge on the other islet. It's just connected.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Now, some things we know about this island is that the Romans used it back in the 17th century.
Oh, that's cool.
There was previously a Roman temple dedicated to the goddess Venus.
Oh my God,
on
we
the
have
island.
to go.
Oh, it's so cool looking. And there's actually still ruins from that temple on the island and in the water surrounding it.
Oh.
And the caves that are on the island have been there since the Romans inhabited it.
I love ruins. I'm sorry.
Oh, I do too. And it's been speculated that the famous poet Virgil taught students on the island.
Oh my gosh, this is awesome.
I know. At this point in time, however, it is abandoned because of the curse. The locals don't go near it, and it actually belongs to the nearby regional government of Campania. I assume I'm saying that wrong, so I'm sorry, guys. And it's inside a marine reserve called the Underwater Park of Gaiola.
Oh.
So the waters itself are protected. You can't really go swimming or fishing there much.
So no field trip.
I mean, you can still go there. People just don't.
Okay.
So let's take a look at the long list of tragedies that have given the island its cursed reputation.
Yes.
In the early 19th century, the island was inhabited by a hermit known as the Wizard.
I love it.
He basically kept to himself, obviously. Hermit. Other than occasionally interacting with some fishermen in the area.
Get off my island.
A couple of sources said that he mysteriously vanished.
Oh.
However, I don't know if he actually vanished or if it's just been added later to, make it a little more mysterious.
Yeah.
Because not every source said that he vanished.
Oh, okay.
And you know how lore is. After the Wizard lived on the island, it was purchased by Luigi de Negri. He built the beautiful villa that still stands on the island today. And it really is beautiful. I mean, it's got stairs that go across the island and down the rocks. And you can still see the tunnels that go down to the coast and the walkways. Like, it's a big building as well. I mean, it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Even in ruins, it's beautiful. And shortly after building the villa, his company went bankrupt. And he went into financial ruin, and he sold the island.
Okay.
So that was our first bad luck tragedy. In 1911, Captain Gaspare Albenga was sailing his ship around the island because he was thinking about buying it.
Yeah.
And while he was looking, though, he crashed his ship into some rocks and he drowned.
Oh, no. Guess he's not buying the island, is he?
He did not buy the island. In the 1920s, a Swiss businessman named Hans Braun owned the villa, but he was later found murdered inside the villa, wrapped up in a carpet.
Oh.
Shortly after his death, his wife had gone swimming out in the ocean, and she drowned.
Oh, my God.
So
Okay.
they both died. One was, like, viciously murdered.
Yeah. By the wife.
Maybe. I don't know. She drowned, so I don't think the case was ever solved.
Wow.
Which, you know, it's the 1920s. How much investigating could they really do?
It's true.
The next owner of the island was Otto Grunbach, who suffered a heart attack while visiting the villa and died.
What?
Like, he didn't even live on the island, but as he went out there to stay in, like, his vacation home, he had a heart attack and died.
Oh, my God. That's terrifying.
The next owner was a man named Maurice Yves Sandos. He was a writer and a pharmaceutical industrialist. And he actually ended up being taken to an insane asylum in Switzerland where he committed suicide in 1958.
Oof. Okay.
Gaiola Island was then owned by Baron Karl Paul Langheim, who was a German industrialist whose company also went bankrupt.
But, like, companies just go bankrupt.
Yeah.
Don't blame the island.
But, like,
Yeah, I know.
every single owner. We have yet to come to an owner since the Hermit who did not have some tragic circumstance happen to them.
What did the wizard do?
That's a good question. Maybe that's why he was called the wizard. Maybe he cursed the island.
Maybe.
Okay, so after his company went bankrupt, Langheim sold the island to Gianni Agnelli, who, if you haven't heard of him, he was the owner of Fiat.
Okay, yeah.
And while he owned the island, his only son committed suicide, and his nephew died from a rare form of cancer at the age of 33.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Okay.
The next owner of the island was John Paul Getty.
Uh-huh.
And if that name sounds familiar to you, he was once the richest man in America as the founder of the Getty Oil Company.
Mm-hmm.
So he was not spared from the island's curse. He was also a terrible person, which I'm going to tell you about.
I mean,
His youngest son died at the age of 12 from a terminal illness.
oh,
And Getty actually was notoriously frugal, despite being the richest man in
I was
America.
going to say, he bought a whole island.
He bought an island. And he scolded the child's mother, who was his fifth wife,
Okay.
for spending too much money on the child's treatment.
He bought an island.
Right, but he can't afford to get his son better.
Okay.
Also, in 1973, his 16-year-old grandson, John Paul Getty III, was kidnapped by the Drangheta, which I'm probably saying wrong, but I think it's Drangheta, which is and was, I think it's still around. It's the Italian mafia.
Oh, okay.
And
Surely it is.
So, in 1973, a 16-year-old grandson was kidnapped.
I've heard this before. Okay.
Yeah. So they demanded $17 million in ransom. John actually refused to pay the $17 million ransom, arguing that it could make his 13-year-old grandson's targets as well.
This guy. Oh my God, this guy.
If they know I'll pay the ransom, they're gonna kidnap my other grandkids. That was his argument. A few weeks later, the kidnappers actually cut off John Getty III's ear and sent it to a newspaper, threatening to continue the mutilation until they were paid a reduced ransom of $3 million.
The kid's on clearance, John. Just get him.
John Paul Getty Jr., which was the boy's father and the island owner's son, asked his father for the $3 million, and John Sr. agreed to pay no more than $2.2 million because that's the maximum that would be tax deductible.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Eventually, on December 15th of 1973, the grandson was found alive after the ransom was paid. And after the boy was rescued, he called his grandfather to thank him.
Yeah, I remember this.
But John Sr. refused to even come to the phone. He was probably mad at him for costing so much money.
Yeesh.
So it's no wonder after all of that John III became a drug addict and eventually suffered a stroke after mixing a cocktail of drugs and alcohol that left him speechless, nearly blind, and partially paralyzed for the rest of his life.
Oh, wow.
So there was John Paul Getty's curse
I feel
experience.
like John III, that didn't have to do with the island itself.
Yeah, no.
His decline.
Yeah, no. That was definitely on John Paul Getty being a terrible person.
Oh, my God.
Is it curse or karma? I'm not really sure on that one. Okay, so finally, the island's last private owner was Gian Pascal Grappone, and he was jailed after his insurance company failed and he was unable to pay his debts.
Oh.
So he didn't break any laws. He couldn't pay his debts, so they put him in jail.
Yeesh. Okay.
After this, in 1978, the island became government property.
Yeah. Okay.
But it still got blamed for one more tragedy.
Really?
In 2009, Franco Ambrosio and his wife Giovanna Sacco were murdered, and they owned a villa directly opposite of the island.
The curse is spreading. Ooh.
So, was it just a long series of tragic events that spanned from the, 19th century to 2009? Or was the island actually cursed?
I'm going with the curse. That's a lot of coincidences.
The fact that there's not one single owner who didn't have tragedies happen while they owned the island.
But did he own the island, or did he just live on it?
And did he actually mysteriously disappear, or was that just a rumor? Heck, apparently you don't even have to own the island. To the guy that was sailing around looking at it.
That's true, yeah. He thought about owning it.
Yep, he crashed and drowned.
Maybe the island doesn't want to be owned.
Maybe not. Maybe it doesn't even want people in his general vicinity.
Yeesh. Okay, I'm canceling the field trip.
But look at the pictures. It really is a beautiful island.
It is beautiful. I was looking at it. It's so pretty.
And it's such a cool story, but it's such a sad story too.
It
is. It's weird, man. It's a weird island.
Oh, there's some. Okay, I'm gonna have to post a ton of pictures because there's even an underground plaza, maybe.
It's extensive. The people who owned you have to be rich to own an island.
Yeah.
So they went all out. They made it just beautiful.
Well, I think parts of the island are this is underwater, but I think parts of the island probably sank or something. But
well, it could be part of the temple that I mentioned that you're seeing.
Oh, it may be
the Roman temple that's underwater.
It does look.
And the
Romanesque.
caves, like I said, the caves that are in the island are left from the Romans who occupied it.
So cool.
So if you're ever in Italy,
okay, maybe we'll go on the field trip.
If you're ever in Italy, go check out Gaiola Island and try not to get murdered.
Yeah.
Or go bankrupt.
Or not pay your grandson's ransom.
Yeah, try not to be a dick.
Thanks for listening.
Like us on Facebook at True Crimes and Weird Times Podcast.
Follow us on Instagram at True Crimes Weird Times.
Email us your stories at truecrimesweirdtimes@gmail.com.
And if you enjoyed the show, make sure to subscribe and leave a review.
Bye.